I get asked a lot what I do for food without a refrigerator in here. And I have to do a food run today, so I thought I'd show you a little bit of that. And then I will explain all of that in this video. So if you are interested in how I do it, stay tuned and I will show you all about it. So in order to film this, I have my window open so that you can see better. But I wanted to show you that the little container that I have in under here has these drawers that are like so. And I'm going to show you how I pack them and what I pack them with. I get these when I can find them. They're just little organic coconut oil. It's about a serving, and I use this to make my toothpaste because it's in solid form, and I use it to cook. So it does a double duty. I just pick them up whenever I can because they're not always available. So as you see, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them fit. And then I get these little honeys when I can find them. And I used to not see these things anywhere, and now, because it's on my radar, I see them all the time. And that will happen to you as well. I don't eat a lot of sugar, but I'll just pick these up whenever I'm at a Starbucks or somewhere where they have these types of sugars, and I will store them here too. So then you saw me pick up a variety of these. They will be at any health food store. You just need to look for them. They have a variety. This one has honey in it. One is just classic almond butter or peanut butter. And then I saw these, so I picked them up because this is just, it has nothing in it. And sometimes for recipes or whatever, I will need some that just don't have any sugar or anything added. And then I will get, sometimes I like these little packages, and sometimes I can't find them. And just for other needs, I'll get these chopped pecans and walnuts because they're good in salads or in other recipes. I like to, whenever I find it, get some instant yeast in case I'm going to make some type of bread or I need yeast for some reason. So those I will put in here as well. So these all go under here. And they just push in like so. This one looks like it's going to have to be repacked this way. So those are all little things that I use to cook with, and they're very readily available. I have about 7 items for a dry food pantry, 8 items that I have for my liquid storage pantry, and then some spices, and then the produce that I will show you how that stores the best. These are my liquid goodies. I am not in any way sponsored by Organics. This just happened to be the brand that was available at this store that I went to. I will just look for anything that is organic if I can. I've got maple syrup, broth, coconut oil. This is a liquid when it is a normal temp, coconut water, apple cider vinegar, and olive oil. And this is my cooler. It's just a soft cooler, nothing special about it. And I will have some cans of different salsas and things on hand, and soups if I find this is chili that I like, and then my Java coffee, which several of you have noted needs to be refrigerated, but this is how I refrigerate it and it lasts just fine. Then if I have any other cans, they usually go in that way. All of these things, because a lot of them are glass or maybe break, I like to keep them in here because if they do break elsewhere, they would make a mess. And here, if they break, they will just make a mess in here. So that's why I do it that way. And I don't usually buy glass, so these are the glass things that I do allow in my van. But otherwise, I try to stay away from glass because glass breaks. So that is what I will have for my liquid pantry staples. Then as far as my dry pantry goes, these are the staples: baking soda, baking cocoa, which this is an organic one that I really love. It makes things taste really good. Nutritional yeast, which is very important. I use it as a Parmesan substitute, or just when I feel like I need some added nutrition in it. And then, of course, I can't have eggs, so an egg replacer equivalent. I love this one. It's so simple. Just 1 tablespoon to that to 2 tablespoons of water, and you've got yourself an egg. And then this varies a lot, but some kind of powdered milk or creamer. And then, of course, some kind of flour. In this case, I am not celiac or anything like that, so these Kodiak, and there's another brand that I use that have a lot of protein packed in the flour. So if I make some kind of quick bread or some kind of pancakes or something, I know that they will be nutrition packed. And even though it's carbs for me, they're good carbs because they've got a lot of good stuff in them. So that is what I would use for basic dry pantry. The reason I get them in these types of packs is because they're easy to pack, and I'll show you how I do that right now. I'm just going to take these 2 things out to show you, but this is what they look like in here. It connects to what I was just showing you over there, but these 2 things slide out, and this is for my stove when I'm outside. It's a metal wind block, just stores up nice in there, so I keep it back there. And then I use these airtight containers and these. These are older ones that I've had for a while, and these I got new. They press down and they lock airtight like this. So I do plan to replace these eventually with these, but I was just trying these out. In this, I usually have bars. I've never had a problem with mice or anything in my van, but I do just keep them in these containers so that hopefully they don't like to get into that. I have several of those where they're just protein bars in case I need a good protein snack. These are my oatmeal packs. And then these I'll keep like that because that's in the back. And I can see all of this. So this one goes over here in this area, depending on what I'm eating. I mean, sometimes I'm in the mood for digestives and I put them in the front or whatever, but this is how those fit back there. This one I have this little divider. In this one I decided not to because I wanted to see other bigger things that I fit back here. But you've seen this. It stores about 3 or 4 packets this way, and then I can usually fit 3 or 4 more on top. These are pretty safe. And these type of things, if I have overflow, I'll just store in my cooler because I feel like it's a little bit safer in there than anywhere else. And then I will have the occasional extra stuff. These are just, I'm trying to show you my basic pantry that I make so many things out of, and I will do another video to show you what I make from those things. So these are my basic spices that I use. Tahini, I love it. I use it on almost everything that needs spice. It's just a mixture of chili pepper, sea salt, lime juice. Very good. Then I have cinnamon, dill, mustard, and then salt, pepper, chia, and flax seeds. Those are my basic spices that I use to make a variety of different things, and I will show you that. My spices go back here, so they're easily accessible. One of the reasons that I made this little shelf here was to have things like that I can access. And my tahini. And I love it when I can find a produce and they're in powdered or dried form. This is just 100% beetroot that can be put into water or coconut water or anything, and that packs the nutrition of the beet powder without taking room. Same thing with blueberries and strawberries, fruits that I can find dried, and this time I was able to find some dried strawberries and blueberries, and these are great because they'll last forever. You know how you get fruit and you have to eat them that day because otherwise they just get rotten in your refrigerator? Well, this is a way around that. The one thing I will say is that you have to be careful because they're dried. They do tend to have more of the sugar content, and if you're watching that, you have to be careful with it. So this is the produce that I will get, and obviously without a refrigerator, I try to get the things that don't need it. With spinach, when you get it, if you turn it around upside down, but then also put a paper towel in it, it lasts longer without refrigeration. It'll last in my little cooler, and I usually then just make room on top here for that. And then apples don't need refrigeration. I'll get things like beans, green beans, snow peas, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, apples, sweet potato, and then of course I get bread. And this is the only thing that is questionable without refrigeration. So Daya is a type of cheese that is made from pea protein and tapioca flour and things like that. And it's really good. It melts very well. It's the best type of dairy-free vegan cheese that I have found. They will last pretty well unless it's really, really hot, which I don't have any problems right now. Cheese, if you wrap it in a cheesecloth, or if you don't have cheesecloth, you can wrap it in paper towels. And again, it takes that moisture, it keeps it from getting moldy or any little thingies growing on it. Then I get sourdough bread, if I get bread at all, because it usually just has 3 ingredients, flour, salt, and water, really, and I can eat those things. These things can all be stored out. Like sometimes I'll hang, you'll see me with avocados and things, I'll just hang them on my hooks here when I'm not moving down the road. I'll keep them in this until I am in a stable place, and sometimes I'll rearrange this so that they can just go in the cooler and stay fresh that way. But they really don't need refrigeration. That's kind of our myth. Sometimes things stay better when they're not refrigerated. Other things that I'll get is cabbage, cauliflower, which I just forgot this time. I found this, which is a super blend of greens, just so that I can get some essential amino acids and some green blend of wheatgrass, kale, spirulina, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds. So these are pretty expensive, but they're worth it every so often to have, and just know that you can get your greens basically by just having a little tablespoon of this. So that's what I do as well. And then it fits conveniently in my little ottoman, so somebody can sit here, and it's all packed inside, and that is my little cooler. It works really, really well. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of how I do this. And I know that there are refrigerators that don't take much power, but I am always trying to look for that alternative that is simple, that doesn't require any power if I don't need it, and this is that solution. So if you are trying to imagine how to do it without electricity or a solar setup, this would be an option for you, I hope. It is something that for me comes more naturally than trying to figure out how to keep a refrigerator running with solar on the road. And I will be showing you in the future all the things from basically the ingredients that you saw here today. I will show you some really good recipes, the things that I can do to really eat well without refrigeration and be healthy. So I hope that helps you to understand not only how, but why I choose to do what I do. There are some tricks to keeping food fresher. A lot of people who can and do things like that will tell you as long as you don't have air in it, that you're not going to get the bacteria that grows. So there are these things They come in this vacuum packed bag, but basically they just absorb extra oxygen in containers if you're going to store things for a while. I don't need to do that very often, but if there's something that I'm going to leave and I know I won't be using it for a while, the pea protein flour that I have, I don't use regularly enough that it is used right away. So things like that, I'll put maybe that in their little airtight container with them. I have also shown you my little device that reseals packages. So that helps quite a bit, even if I throw a little oxygen absorber in there and then reseal it with this. It just turns on. It is a USB rechargeable battery that operates it. It gets hot really quickly and then you just reseal your bag. So that is another tip that I have. I will occasionally get pickled things, like I love kimchi, I love pickles, olives, anything, pickled beets, pickled carrots. So if I do find those things and I feel like I am needing that in my diet, I will go ahead and get that. Those stay in my soft cooler because if it broke, the juice wouldn't go everywhere. It would just stay contained to that little space. What else? So I hope this helps you understand how I manage without refrigeration. It's totally possible. So if your setup is going to be similar to mine, or if you are wondering how to do things without drawing a lot of power from refrigeration, or if your refrigerator ever goes out, these things are tried and true and they've worked for me for a long time. And I hope that they are helpful to you as you are thinking about what you're going to do. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.